Welcome to the Porsche Club Insider, your one stop for all things Porsche and PCA. Here's your host, Vu Gwyn, and the Insider crew.
Welcome, everyone, to episode 49. I'm at the table here with Manny Albin, Damon Lowney, and, of course, we have Robert Forsyth as well. We have a lot to cover, a lot in the news, a lot of stuff to talk about before we get into it. If you enjoy the show, be sure to click the like button. We love your comments. And, of course, if you're on a platform that allows you to subscribe, please do so. Speaking of looking over comments, I was looking over comments on one of our videos, and someone commented about our jeans.
Our jeans?
Our jeans.
I didn't see that comment.
Someone was coming to our video.
Did we offend them like that flip-flops?
They said we should get new jeans.
These are new.
Why?
I don't know. I think the one it was the video from when we were at the
Well, who in particular were they talking about?
I can't imagine they were talking about my jeans.
Well, who was in the video?
Manny. It was your light washed jeans. So don't wear your light.
They're like
That's how he wants them.
they're like what's that place called? Old Navy.
Old Navy. It's just funny. Someone's watching our videos for fashion.
Yeah,
You're
this
right.
is the
This is
wrong podcast to listen to or watch.
Wrong channel to be
fashion.
watching for fashion.
90%
Anyways,
of my
I
clothes
think I
is-
replied back that we put you in cut skinny jeans, and the results were not as good.
Most
Compression jeans.
most of my listen here, pal.
We
We
hit a
have to
nerve.
go back to the,
We
we
hit
have
a
to
nerve.
go to the cruise pictures.
Oh, hush, hush. Moving along. So
I
how
told
was?
Levi, who was our new registrar, came in. I said, when you go to Rennsport Reunion, you get to see Vu wear his yellow boots. And you have to tell him, nice boots, because he wants everyone to see his yellow rain boots.
I love my yellow rain boots, and it's not. I don't
You
wear.
love the attention you get in the yellow rain boots.
Absolutely.
You know what? Speaking of attention, I found a pair of those PCA pants that we custom made for a few people.
Oh, the one
a few
Karen
years
Yes,
ago.
Super did
yes.
for the,
Should I cut those? Manny cut them into shorts, I believe.
You can use them however you
Just
like.
Cut them into shorts.
Just
Maybe
be
that's where it
prepared for a
works.
lot of comments.
And people, you know what? You're going to drive Charlotte crazy because a percentage of the crowd will want them.
They want to know they're
And
selling them.
if we're selling them, and Charlotte's going to
Oh boy,
kill you.
Maybe I
For
should.
those real old timers who remember, and this is before my time, but I've seen pictures of the guys wearing the STP pants. Have you ever seen that from the Indy 500?
Aren't those
There were
like-
white pants with
Yes.
STP logos
Not
all
the
over
pants,
them?
jackets, yeah, but
No, pants. There's like the whole ensemble.
The whole
And,
ensemble.
that's what the PCA ones look like. Our past president, national president Karen Cooper,
Branding.
got
PCA
in her
tracksuit.
idea, and she begged us to wear it. So I think Aaron, our current president, was the only person that didn't wear them. Everyone else put them on just to make her happy, and I ended up just turning them into shorts.
Well, I'm ashamed to say that the size in which I received them and wore them then is not the same size I wear today. So I can't even cut them into shorts.
It reminds me because I came across something when I was cleaning out. This is probably when you could have fit into it. You remember this?
Oh my
This is
gosh!
I gave Robert a picture of the CD.
Whoa!
And I came across this, and I was like, "Wow!" I'm like, "This is before."
oh boy,
This is
So-
before
so what-
Vu had Jonah. This is
So what we're
Should we show
holding
this to the camera
What
real
we're
quick?
holding up is I was pretty crafty and created for the holidays a slideshow of what happened during the year, and I gave out these DVD-Rs. Man, that's
it's a throwback right there.
throwback right there.
I'm sure
I don't even know if there's a place for you to put that in.
We put it inside the computer already.
Oh yeah, is it loaded up?
It's a bunch of videos. But I was cleaning out. That's what I did this weekend. Was after we did Cars and Coffee, I went to our security office because we're selling it, and I'm starting to clear out all my stuff, PCA stuff that I've had in storage there. And I figured, well, instead of just moving it to my attic and keeping it stored, I'm actually going to go through the stuff and sell most of the stuff and throw away stuff. And so I was cleaning out this one box of that I kept of all these wires and AC adapters that I never knew what went to, but I didn't want to throw
Can't
away.
bring yourself to throw it away.
Yes, I figured, well, this has been up here for about 10 years, so if I haven't used it by now, I'm never going to use it. So,
Oh, man.
But I came across some CDs. I was flipping through them, and I came across.
That's
your
awesome. I don't
Christmas
even know if
CD.
I have one of those. I think I gave them out, but I don't know if I kept,
There you go.
kept
You're
one.
gonna have this one as a memory.
So, are you throwing a lot of stuff like on eBay, the Albin collection?
No,
or,
I want to stay away from eBay.
or save it for the
I'll take some to the swap
Hershey
meet.
swap meet.
Yeah, I won't do it all in one shot because it's a lot. I mean, I've already gone through like 25 totes.
Whoa.
And I hardly made a dent. I probably have like 200 totes of stuff.
Oh my god.
And it's funny. It's like I walked down memory lane of all the stuff that I didn't realize. And you know how it is when you've been in.
What's the oldest item you have from
Oh
PCA?
shoot! The stuff I've been given or I own.
Anything.
But the oldest thing is the 2 copies of Panorama #1.
Oh, I hate you. You have 2 copies.
Yeah, and they're not folded.
Oh,
They're
I hate
perfectly
you even
flat.
more. I hate you even more.
Because for the listeners, obviously Panorama they mailed out and they would fold it before they mailed it. But you can imagine how few copies there were of #1, which was December 1955.
Wasn't there like a reissue?
There
of
was a
#1?
reissue, and
Yeah.
I think it was a different color and bigger than the original.
Yeah.
And it was only like 10 pages, maybe.
I'm
back then.
still on the hunt for issue #1, but I think I came across one once, and it was like $400, and I was just like, oh.
The best part was when Vu first started here at the old Springfield office. We found out that the first 2 years of Panorama, which are the most valuable, were in a contain. What was it in a?
So they were on a bookshelf near the front door.
I thought they were being used to hold open the front door.
Well, they were like in these like little slip cases, and the slip case closest to the door was like issues 1 through whatever, and because it was closest to the door, the staff didn't realize, and they grabbed that slip case and used it to hold open the door for the UPS man. I'm like, that's got to change. We're gonna have to move those.
Now we have it in a little bit better location.
Oh yeah.
So I didn't do anything particularly fun other than I think a few weeks ago I told you I did some car washing, and my foam cannon hasn't been performing like it's. I've had my foam cannon for
By
about
foam can't even mean medicine you need.
the soap foam cannon to wash my car. I think I've had that for at least a decade, and so I decided to splurge and get a new one. And the new one actually, I forget what brand it is. I should probably tell you guys, but I did a little bit of research, and it's got like a little replaceable cartridge that you can, when the foam mechanism doesn't work anymore, and it has different pressure inserts, so it can match up to if you have a gas pressure washer versus electric. So anyways, super sudsy. It's supposed to come out like shaving cream. So I'm
Do you
looking
use
forward to it.
special soap for it?
Yeah, you use foam cannon soap.
So what's the advantage of using a foam cannon rather than just washing a car the old-fashioned way?
Well, the reason why I like it, so I use the pressure washer to rinse the car off.
Makes great Instagram videos.
It does.
Well,
And
that's what I've been noticing.
It's very satisfying to throw the foam on the car. And so you have all the soap on the car, and it kind of lifts the dirt. And then I have a bucket just to rinse. So instead of having 2 buckets where I dip for soap and then wash and then dip to rinse, this is all very foreign to Damon.
Yeah. Well, I use 2 buckets. I actually,
You do?
Yeah, I know the 2 bucket solution.
Okay. So I use only 1 bucket, and it's a rinse bucket. So the soap is
Gotcha.
already on the car. And it's
So it just makes it easier and faster.
it definitely makes it a lot faster.
And lifts the dirt.
Yep,
before.
exactly.
That's very cool.
I don't understand the foam cannon. I didn't have a one to use for the pressure washer, just a hose one I bought.
Oh, a hose one? Yeah, I can understand.
And to me, the soap would dry out before I got finished washing the car.
Oh,
yeah.
no. Yeah, if you, you should try mine. You come over, I'll let you wash my car.
I just
Yeah, or you just give it to me, I can wash my own.
I just see on groups, in social media, Instagram or Facebook, and you see just random pictures of cars covered like from the tires to the roof.
It's
and foam.
so satisfying. It's
I
so
bristle
satisfying.
when I see the wheels being washed along with the body. 'Cause
Oh,
that's
yeah,
a big no-no.
that's a big no-no, yeah.
And it looks good for Instagram videos,
Yeah.
but for reality,
Yeah, and people that use buckets that don't have the like the grit guard, that's a big no-no too, because they like dig deep into the bucket and they just pick up all the stuff and throw it back on their car, and I'm like, oh.
Yep.
But the most, I guess, troublesome thing for me lately is I'm chasing down this P0441 code on my Cayenne, and of course I happen to need to get my
that the check engine light I saw?
Yes, I need to get my car through Maryland emissions. And P0441, any guesses of what that code is?
What do you normally
O2
say?
sensor?
Oxygen sensor, yeah.
It's a incorrect purge flow valve lower limit value. And the thing is, I had this code before, and I did buy a new purge flow valve. The cheap side of me got me. I didn't buy like an OEM one. I just bought like, some other brand that was close to it that got good ratings. So now I don't know if it's really something wrong with it, or is it because I just have a bad valve, or I also have a bad battery in the car. Like it works, but I can tell it's like when you have a battery that's not that strong, you get a lot of these four-wheel drive codes and stuff like that. And actually, who was it that just Jim just replaced his battery, and I go, so why did you change your battery? He's like, oh, because I started getting my four-wheel drive. I check the four-wheel drive system, so I know that I need to replace the battery. And so he did, and that went away. So I'm wondering if I replace my battery, will I not only get rid of that four-wheel drive issue, but will that purge value
probably start there? But it's funny you mentioned that, because it doesn't seem all that long ago when we did a video on replacing the battery.
I know.
But that was 6 or 7 years ago now. I think.
Was it that long ago?
It was 2015 or 2016. I think.
I know Jim used it.
So, yeah.
Jim used it to review it. So if you haven't checked out that video, that's on our YouTube channel of how to replace your Cayenne battery. It's not hard, but it's pretty involved.
Did you read the comments from the podcast with people suggesting ways to clean your wheels?
No. Well, I mean, I did, but I don't know if there were many. I don't recall that there were many.
Anything from there were several of them.
Oh, really? Okay.
Roger Moises said to use Magic Eraser in your favorite wheel spray. That was it.
Oh, Magic Eraser. Interesting. I have that. I can try that.
Um,
Wheel acid. Paul Gentili. I don't know if he put it online, but he said, I've got wheel acid you can try. So I'm like,
Nick
I tried on Damon's car first.
Nick Reichner said diluted simple green and a bristle brush.
I have that. And then there was one like brake buster or something like that.
Clay Foster said PNS brake buster.
Yeah, I saw that online, so I might try that too. Well, I'm going to try everything that I have in the garage first. And if not, then I'll start looking at that stuff. And then I'll report back to you all on what worked on Damon's car first, and then finally on my Odyssey.
The Camry.
Yep. How about you, Damon?
I'm doing well. I didn't really have an exciting weekend. I'm still probably about half an hour, maybe an hour per week. I go into the garage and try and pick out that seal, which is still.
It's still.
Yeah, I haven't worked on it a lot. Like I've been very busy, and which I'll tell you about in a second. But that seal is still in there. So autocross season is
I was about to say.
away.
I think end of March is our first autocross.
Yeah, once it seals out, it'll be fine. But man, I'm just nervous about.
No, I get it, man.
So.
You don't want to rush that and do it wrong, right?
Yeah.
So
there it sits. But in the meantime, one reason I haven't been working on that so much is just, when stuff you've gathered in life, and you're cleaning a room and you realize, man, I have way too much stuff. I got to get rid of it and sort some things out.
Yeah, Boo, do you know about that?
So
Manny, hush.
So I was telling you all about my front room, which it actually looks nice now, and it has a little TV with a Roku stream bar, and my office looks like an office now. It has a nice futon couch with some artwork my dad used to have.
What?
Yeah, right. But
you're like adulting. I'm so proud of you.
Well, that front room, as I said, it's been like that storage room where you put stuff that you don't want to walk past in your house. So that's getting somewhere, but what happened there is that now, and I don't know if you guys have gone through this, but revocable trusts and distributions and all that.
What the
from
heck?
10 years ago when my mom passed away, there's still property in California that pops up here and there, and apparently I need to get an employee identification number for my trust to get that money. That property, that money.
There's
in
money
California.
and property out there for you?
Yeah, from probably just random accounts that just weren't listed in her trust and I never knew about. Not a lot, it's just, but enough to be worth it.
GT4
to go after it.
GT4
No, this is it'll pay for half of waterproofing a basement. Not a ton, so sort of thing.
Hey,
but,
man, that's like winning the lottery.
Yeah, well, it's nice, I know it's there, but man, it is just putting all the documents together, and that's what I've been up to the past couple weekends.
Yeah. So here's a riddle for you guys, you all that are listening. I was in a search for a car for my wife, which we came up with the the manual Honda Civic. And then my daughter needed a car, which we ended up getting a car from Nathan, a Acura MDX. But now we have a new search in the family for my sister-in-law, who is currently driving my father's old 09 Ford Focus manual that he got during Cash for Clunkers. I don't know if you guys remember Cash for Clunkers. So we got a smoking deal on that. Anyways, the car has been fantastic, but she drives quite a bit, and it's time for a new car. And the car that she would like has to be hatchback, manual, and non-SUV, smallish type of a car.
Sounds like she wants a Golf TDI.
That's pretty much what my son's looking for.
Yeah.
He doesn't want he wants a hatchback, same thing.
Yeah.
Stick shift.
There's not many. If you do cars.com and start, and it could be, I told my brother she totally deserves a new car, or at least a CPO car, because the poor thing drives all the time and doesn't need any kind of project. And of course, you know what my brother came up with? He's like, I think we should get her a Miata.
There we go. Great car to drive.
It is a great car to drive, but for someone driving long distance, that's a tiny car.
Yeah.
And it's not a hatchback. And it's like,
From
experience, a Miata.
Too fat and lazy.
I'm just being
I
practical.
drive a tiny car every day. It's fine.
I can say from experience, a Miata's not great at road. You can do road trips, but you won't be super
and
comfortable.
plus bad weather, it's rear wheel drive, so
I drove my Z3 to Amelia Island back.
Yeah. You're different. You're different. You're tough. You're tough.
I'm tough, right?
Yeah.
So anyways, if you guys have any ideas or suggestions for cars, we already have the my wife's obviously manual Civic hatchback as an option. What'd you just throw out there, Damon? Oh, a Golf.
Well, I wasn't gonna. I was gonna say it sounds like my Golf TDI is like exactly
your
the
Golf
kind
TDI.
of car,
Oh yeah,
but it's not for
or
sale.
even a Golf. I mean,
yeah.
a Golf, but there's not
The
many.
Hyundai makes the
There's not many out there that's manual. It's like,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe a dozen cars in the state.
Corollas come in manual, and
They
the Honda
do.
Civics are manual.
Find one though.
With
They
hatch.
come in it, but find one that's actually on a lot.
Oh, no one's gonna find anything on a lot. You're smoking dope. You got to go order one.
Go order one.
Yeah.
So what's your son thinking of?
We're looking at a Honda Civic.
Yeah.
He said he told my wife, he says, judging from what Dad always talks about, I can hear him talking, either we're getting a Toyota or a Honda. I told him, I said, do you want dead reliability?
Yeah.
Toyota or Honda. It's just,
Yeah. And
that's the best to get. And Damon's Camry's proof of that.
273,000 miles. So
My Suburban's closing in on 280.
280.
And my my Z3 I drive every day. It just
So
crossed
who
230.
has the highest mileage car here?
well, car probably me, but vehicle, your Suburban beats the Camry by like 7 or 8.
How much do you have on the Suburban?
Suburban's 277 or 278.
So
277.
273, still going strong.
But you will probably pass me then because the
Oh, yeah.
Suburban doesn't. We may drive that 3,000 miles a year at the most.
Well, I hope it does because I put, I mean, everything that moves on that car is new except for the suspension. So
Yeah, Suburban's the
should
other way.
pass.
We've maintained it, but it's been really reliable. So nothing major that we've ever done. It's going to rust before. It's already starting to rust. And
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what happened to my
Quarters.
dad's 3/4 ton Suburban. Like the engine always fired up and started. It just started, the frame started to rot
Yeah,
away.
and we drove it all for winters on end, and Maryland with the salt and whatnot.
You think
It's
the
just
newer,
terrible.
like the newer Suburbans have solved that? Do you think the metals are less prone?
No, you look at pickup trucks around now, and you see and I'm sure Suburbans and all that, if you drive them the same way, you see they start rusting, especially around the wheel wells in the rear.
Yeah.
So why is
So-
it like my Odyssey's got like 210,000 miles, and if you look underneath it, and it's always been outside, driven in the snow. I mean, the only thing we haven't done it is taken it, and dunked the rear end at a boat ramp like we would with the Suburban. But other than that, it's been exposed to everything, and not a single bit of rust under the
I
Odyssey.
bet you we could find rust on it.
On the Odyssey?
There might be somewhere, but I mean,
But nothing like a Suburban or
Yeah.
a F-150.
Yeah.
Why do those rust so much more?
I don't know.
So they're trucks.
It's
But
how
why,
they're
but why
used.
can't they make it so that it doesn't rust? Or is it that cost thing?
Maybe they don't want to.
Yeah, that's how you get them
That's
into
how
the
you
next
get them to buy
car.
another one.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, well, let's talk. Oh, we had some fun doing a quick video on the 964, Project 964.
Yes, we're.
We filmed that on
It
Monday,
proved-
so that was a quick
It proved
turnaround.
positive that we try to do one takes, Lisa Do and I, and we had an interesting surprise. Because you see in the video where Vu asked me what's the pattern of the insert, and yeah, that's not what we discussed.
But that was not even the first surprise.
No. So I had on Friday, I had opened up one of the boxes because we're getting the rear seats done in the same material, the center part, so it matches and it looks nice. So Ilko, our advertising director, he is out in California, so he got a set, another back seat that we could modify because we want to keep everything stock on this car. Even though we take it off, we'll keep the original parts. And so he wanted some pictures of the seat and how the stitching was and whatnot. So I opened one of the boxes up, took the pictures and everything, and sent it to him. So we go to film the video. I said, well, open this box here, the second one, because it hasn't been opened yet. It'll look better for the video. So we're filming it.
First take.
One take, yeah. It's going great. He opens it up, and as soon as he pulls it out, I realize I'm looking at it going, oh, my God, it's a different pattern. It's not the same pattern.
And I didn't remember.
The funny part is that I had seen the other seat that morning, and
I
didn't even notice for some reason.
And, of course, Manny just lets me keep going. But I can tell, like when we're doing videos and stuff, like he's the best person to play poker against because you can pretty much read his thoughts across his forehead. And so as I'm talking about these Pepita and, or Houndstooth seats, I can tell like something's not right, but he's not saying anything. So
and you can order these in different patterns. And in my mind, I'm thinking, and we're going to be ordering the ones with the correct pattern next time.
So anyways, we cut that take and then redid it from the top.
That's when the second take you asked me the name of the pattern, which I never looked up.
We had to keep that in.
Yeah.
That was actually pretty funny. That's I like that. It shows that we're
fortunately
real.
Recaro is very responsive, and they are sending us replacement. It's all Velcro the center part, so that's all we need. So it doesn't slow us down for installation. And they're sending us replacement center.
That'll be easy, right?
We'll send them back to Pepita, which
Pepita.
are very nice looking.
Yeah.
But that would be great if we had like a black interior.
Yeah.
We probably would have picked that pattern.
Yeah, those are great seats. It's I went with Momo's because Recaros were just too nice for my car and a little bit out of reach. So whoever gets these, man, what a nice set of seats.
They are a very nice set of seats.
And back when I was racing, these were race seats. These are not considered race seats anymore.
Yeah.
Even in the literature, it says not to be meant to be used on a racetrack because they got to be FIA certified now. And plus, a lot of them have the race seats have halo attachments, which makes it almost impossible to drive every day with that on the side of your head, but protects you and on the racetrack big time. But they're very period correct looking seats that Porsche use in their Cup cars and the RSs and the 964 Speedster.
I forget to mention. So I talked about the mounts, but did we also get sliders?
Yes.
Okay, so sliders were in the box.
I assume I haven't opened the box up.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I asked.
If not, it's going to be set for a chubby 5'6" person.
Oh,
you only need sliders in the driver's seat.
Yeah. All right. Any updates on Rennsport Reunion 7?
Yes. So we had I'm going to bring up my phone here to go over the slides real quick. It was I got to once again give props to Porsche for planning so well ahead, and they even have a countdown. When we did the meeting, we're 246 days away from Rennsport. We should be seeing within a week or less, I think, the announcement of the website.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be pretty cool. Someone emailed asking if we had a schedule, and I said no, but the website's coming out within this month. And I imagine if it doesn't come out right away, that's just the first place you're going to see the schedule.
Mm-hmm.
But I gave him a link to the last program for Rennsport 6, and I said it's probably going to be very similar to what they've done in the past as far as, because he wanted to know what day to go on. And I told him, I said, it really depends on what you want to do. I said, Thursday's always the slowest. So if you want to go and not be fighting the crowds for pictures, it's the best time. If you want to see racing, go on Sunday. There's on-track activity every day, but the actual racing, I think, is Saturday and Sunday, pretty much Sunday. But, if you just want to watch cars go around at full speed, any of the days will do that. Saturday is a concours half the day. So it's, obviously we're going for all 4 days, and I'm something that even if I wasn't with PCA, I'd still be doing all 4 days.
Yep.
So one of the cool things that they're going to have, it looks like they're going to have the 718, not the Mission R, but the one that's the street version that they've been
The E?
having.
The EV?
The one that they've been. You've seen pictures of it. I want to go over it in the news.
But not the GT4E.
No, it's not called a GT4. It's called the 718E Performance.
Oh, that's
GT4 E Performance, I believe that's more of like Mission R and GT4 clothing, more of a test bed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called? I might be wrong.
Yeah. Well, the GT4 E Performance, that was at Goodwood, and so it's that electric Cayman.
Yeah.
It's basically a Mission R.
Yeah, I think this is the. I've seen pictures of it recently, like yesterday at. They didn't do the ice festival, but they must have gotten together and done something because I saw pictures of the ice festival, or at least stuff going on at LMZ. GT4E Performance. I guess so. That's what it's called.
Is it?
I think that's the one.
Yeah.
I've got a feeling though that that's a test bed. That's obviously not something that Porsche is putting into production.
No. It's 718E Performance.
70 is
Yeah.
it? Oh.
So it's going to be something new. I don't know if I should be mentioning it, but it's out. They're gonna have that at, and a lot of this stuff is still they're working on. Now, one of the cool things, I hope to God they get this pulled off. Should
Which
I mention
is?
it?
Well, don't give away things that we shouldn't be telling. We can tease people, but are you talking about an event that's going to happen, a driving event?
No, about the little kids thing.
Oh, the pedal?
Yeah.
Oh, we can talk about that.
All right.
I think we can talk about that.
What are you talking about?
I'll tease after you talk about this.
No, so if you ever watched Goodwood Revival, if you haven't, you can go to YouTube. Just type in Goodwood pedal race or pedal car race, and it is freaking hilarious. It's these pedal cars that are made to look like period 50s
Period, correct. Yeah.
cars, and there's these kids that dress up, just like the drivers back then. And Robert has it on the YouTube feed. It is hilarious to watch these kids. They do a Le Mans start, so they run to the cars, get in, and then you can see their little legs just
They're pedaling
kicking 100 miles an hour, and they don't run the whole track. In case you're wondering, it's just a front straight.
Right.
But they're going to try to do something similar.
That'd be
Rennsport,
awesome.
every day. So they're going to have to, they're still working on like height requirements and age requirements. But wow, I'm like that will be. They talked about bringing back the tractor race, but this may triumph the.
I love it.
tractor
I love
race.
it. And every single kid that participates in that is going to be the future of Porsche.
Well, two things I want. I want like dibs on being able to buy the actual Porsche pedal car.
They're going home with every kid. The kids not
no,
going
they're going to have to finance to be able to afford that. Mom and dad are going to be into the harsh reality of what Porsche pedal car probably costs, especially if it's metal.
Oh, there's a little chicane.
And see,
That'd
the
be
best
awesome.
part, and anyone who has kids will be able to relate to this, but they've left out the best part. And the best part is near the back. The kids coming in last. Because then you have some major crying going on.
Oh, no.
My kids used to do track and field, and we started them young. And the best was the parents who were dragging these poor kids who did not want to be running across the finish line. The kids are crying. And I used to tell my wife, I'm like, there is so much trauma in future counseling that's going to be coming out of these little races.
So I think we can tease people without. You saw the list of like VIP drivers coming in,
Yes,
and you can't
yes.
say who it is, but it's impressive, right? Who they're inviting.
Oh yeah, I mean, the most impressive part is they're still waiting for other drivers, majority drivers, still to RSVP, yes or no.
Yeah.
I was just talking to Bob Garrettson, who raced the Apple car.
The Apple car. Yeah.
At Le Mans, and he he called because he was trying to find his invitation. He couldn't figure out who emailed it to him, and so I got him in touch with Porsche. But he was saying he wants to make it a reunion of 935 drivers.
Ooh.
So I told him, I said, well, let's set something up for the PCA tent as one of the talks, about because once again, you don't know when Porsche is going to do this again, if the drivers are going to be able to join us. The one I would love to see that I don't think has ever come, and I don't think I've ever met him, is Walter Rohrl.
We met him.
Did we meet him?
Yes,
I've got
we
some
met him
autographed cards.
We met him in Germany at the parade when we drove in the parade.
We met a lot of people.
Yeah, but he was there because I remember seeing his
I just
brown
remember there was,
brown
like,
leather jacket that he was
Soccer
wearing.
stars that we were supposed to be impressed with, and
Yeah.
I'm like, I have no idea who this is.
We definitely saw him there. He's
But
tall.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see him back. I would love to be him to come to the PCA tent and
Yeah.
let us interview him. But that's going to be very cool to have these Legends drivers. So they're
Absolutely.
With Rennsport, it's every Rennsport seems to get bigger and more stuff is always there to entertain us and people who are attending. An earlier podcast, I guess middle of last year, probably right around after Goodwood, one of my comments was, I love Rennsport, but man, if they could make it a little bit more like Goodwood. It almost sounds like that's
they
what
heard
they're
you,
doing.
They
heard you, Damon.
I don't think. Oh, I doubt that they're saying, "Oh,
No, I
let's
think
do
they
what
did.
Damon says." But
We sent that clip to them.
did you?
Let's
Yeah,
test
great.
them out.
Then let's boost
I
my
think
ego
they
a little
should
bit.
give Manny and Damon a GT1 to drive around.
Yeah,
Monterey,
definitely.
don't
You know
think?
what? As well read it, but
Me
it
too.
does sound like that they're
No,
kind
but
of
I
going
mean,
that direction.
it makes sense though, right? It's like, I mean, it's such an amazing event.
It was actually Goodwood in Dubai.
In Dubai, yeah.
The key people that plan these events went to, and they came back with a lot of ideas, which
Interesting.
kudos to them.
Yeah.
Because they are definitely stepping this up. And I think I mentioned this on another podcast. This isn't a revenue generator for Porsche. A lot of people are probably going to think so, but they pretty much said to the whole staff, whatever we bring in, we're going to put right back into the event. So the more tickets that are sold, the better the event will be, and the better they will be able to, finance the event. So I'm very excited about.
Yeah, and there's going to be, again, another teaser for you all. We can't announce it, but there will be another type of driving event at Rennsport. Let me just say it that way.
So Goodwood had rally cars, so I'm just going to say, man, I hope
Is that
there's
what
like
you-
a
is
rally
that your
course.
guess?
That's my guess.
What are you talking about?
That is what I'm talking about.
So
but
I can
don't
say
think
that
we
I
can
have
say
not
anything
seen that
about it,
text
though.
or that picture, and I'm
Yeah.
going to guess rally course.
So
with
we
the
will
Dakar.
share with you. It's going to be exciting, and lots of stuff to look forward to for Rennsport.
It will definitely be a crowd pleaser because everyone likes to watch this.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Now I have to know. Not during this video, though. I'll give it away if you.
All right, so let's get into the recent videos that dropped. And this one, I'm kind of surprised it's not doing very well in terms of numbers, but it's a fantastic video if you own a Macan S.
Yeah, so the spark plug replacement that one of our member services reps, Anthony Solero, did on his parents' car. That is out. I know it's a very niche sort of subject. So are, in some ways, replacing the battery on your Cayenne or your brakes. But as we've seen with those videos, is that over time, people like those videos and use them as a resource. And views will slowly go up over the years as more people do spark plug changes on the Macan.
Yeah, and I was talking to our buddy Mr. Gentili, who has the Macan S, about what do you think of the video. He's like, he loved it, and he's the type of person that would change his own spark plugs. But it got me thinking about why it's not a huge performer right now, is because one, the car is fairly young, right, and the people or the demographics that own Macans may not exactly be DIY people.
Yeah, not yet, but maybe like a year or two or a few years from now.
Yeah, when these cars
cheaper.
when these cars become used and people are picking them up for like, in the teens and 20s,
Like a third owner or
second
something.
or third owner maybe, and they'll try to be doing stuff to themselves. So I think it's gonna be great evergreen material, but I was surprised that it didn't kind of jump off the page right from the start.
Yeah, not every video, unfortunately.
Yeah, but on the flip side though, your
Nordic
09
Gold.
your
Yeah.
Nordic Gold OMR, that one did very well.
Yeah, it's doing a lot better. I don't know what the views are now, but last time I saw it was 5,500 or so,
Yeah.
6,000.
Yep.
And excuse me.
There's a lot higher for a 1 mile review. It was
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. Usually,
It's frustrating too because we try
Yeah.
to read into what the audience wants, and it's not usually what we think it is as far as the type of car. Because this is an 09.
we've had spreadsheets,
Yeah.
and
We're trying to find the trend,
we
right?
can't find the pattern.
Yeah,
So
It's all over the place.
Yeah.
I would not have picked this car as a.
yeah, that
being
does as
so
well
popular.
as it
I
does.
wonder if it's because the thumbnail and Nordic Gold is
Yeah.
such a unique color that's what causes people to click. I wish I knew.
Yeah, and it's the lighting even there wasn't perfect, but I mean the Nordic Gold still comes out pretty well. But I don't know, maybe it's just the kind of
Now that
maybe
car,
people like that kind of car.
when you went through it, well, I think it's also a newer car, and maybe it's a not so new, but it's a car that people are considering buying secondhand, and maybe they're doing a lot of searches on that.
Yeah,
but one of the
perhaps.
things you mentioned on that car is, did it have a muffler delete, like no mufflers, or did it have a aftermarket muffler? Because it didn't seem that loud.
Yeah, so I was thinking about that. It was muffler delete. I said it enough times, and I seem to remember in my interview or when I was talking with the owner
So
that it
just
was muffler
cats?
delete. I do not believe it was the Porsche Sport exhaust.
So just cats and directly dumped out. Because that, I mean, I've done that with my 996 where I had cats and just went straight out. It is loud.
Yeah. I mean,
So
that was a loud car, but
like painfully loud.
that went through my head when I was looking at the edit of that video. But if they told me muffler delete, I would say muffler delete. I wouldn't. I might check, and I'll put it in comments.
The other thing is the 997 is so well isolated from the outside, lots of sound deadening and a very tight car, that I can understand maybe if it didn't have mufflers from the driver's seat, it might not be that loud.
Well, it seemed louder than like your sport exhaust on your 996, and I'm not sure what off memory. I don't know what a 997.2 sport exhaust factory would sound like or how loud it is, but it was definitely loud. So I'll have to check back with Maya and Craig and see if I got that right or wrong.
So he shows a photo of the tailpipe there, and it looks like muffler delete. There is no muffler. It's just from.
Yeah, and I saw that too, and I don't see. I'm pretty sure muffler.
Because there would be some sort of can. Anyways, find out for us.
Yeah. So, but the thing is, if that is actually muffler delete, then I'll go into our comments. If you see a comment from me about that or from PCA on that video, then I got it wrong. But really nice sound, not too loud, but definitely quite loud. And PDK is aged really well. It's funny how it feels more like an automatic transmission when you're in normal mode, but there's a wider spread between normal and Sport Plus. So by the time you're in Sport Plus, it goes from sort of slurring the upshift and downshift, so it just feels really nice and smooth and calm, till you get a kick in the back in Sport Plus at full throttle. So really interesting. PDK holds up. I know there are some comments about this guy thinks it's a novelty that, Porsche with PDK. Well, 09 was the first year Porsche had PDK, so it was a novelty back then. But what I was trying to say is it's a great transmission. It's aged, but it's aged well.
Yeah.
So if anyone's wondering about my true thoughts on that, great transmission if you don't feel like getting a manual. So
the next video, it's actually a YouTube short that was pretty funny. Bogdan is, trying all sorts of different things, and this is, I am completely guilty of this with all of my cars. Every time I park my car and I walk away, about 10-15 feet later, I turn around, and he made this funny video. He looks hilarious. Looking back at this, is that Tesla's GT4?
I'm not sure if it's.
I think it is.
Yeah.
All I know is he was recording a bone cracking sound on the computer when he was making this the other day. So I'm not sure if you hear it, but if you listen closely, you can hear bones crunching as he's turning his neck around.
So funny. So funny. Yeah. All right.
I like the people who commented that, and I didn't see it on the first time, I guess, because I'm looking at my phone, but there's a Cayman spinning because he's doing it in front of the skid pad.
Yeah.
During a skid pad day, and there's a Cayman that's doing a 360.
Oh, I missed that.
Behind it, yeah. Somebody commented, says, "Am I the only one who's noticing this spinning Cayman behind you?"
That's awesome. All right, well, let's get into Porsche news. The first topic is the 959 recommission.
So, if you, I don't know if you read the article, you probably didn't.
Why are you looking at me? Because I didn't.
I'm
friend, guilty as well. I can't just leave
our friend from
right
our friend from Porsche Classic is overseeing this, who we had on as a guest.
Oh, nice. Uwe.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So when I was researching the article, I noticed they had a lot of quotes from him, and he's leading the...
Uwe Makrutsky.
Yeah, he's doing the restoration of it. So this would be such a cool car to be able to see up close. And you can follow Porsche because they're going to be posting on YouTube the restoration of this car.
Wow.
And it hasn't been restored since the Dakar days. So it's going to be pretty cool to watch as Porsche Classic. Porsche Classic works at a much slower pace than the factory, so they can really
take their time
and do things the right way. And of course, they have access to all the original parts, and most of all, they have access to the people who built these cars originally. So, and this was a almost like a one-off what they did. So, Yeah, it's going to be pretty cool. That
And would that car have been built by Motorsports back in the day?
yes,
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
I was just watching. I shouldn't say watching. On my Facebook, I'm friends with Tony Callis, who gets a lot of 959s in for servicing out in Los Angeles. And sometimes I'll scroll across some of his postings, and I'll see. I think he was replacing one of the coolant radiators on a 959, and the part itself, which he had trouble finding, I think he was saying is $20,000 just for a radiator.
Wow.
Like,
I saw somebody on Rentlist say, "I'm looking for a 959, I think tachometer." And I chuckled to myself until I saw the first response. The guy goes, "I have one."
Really?
And I was, wow.
wow.
I just happen to have a
Where do
spare
you
one.
find tachometers for
And how did-
959?
I have one that'll be 10,000 or
I was
something.
like, how do you price that? Oh my gosh.
So anyways, if you don't follow it, you should follow the Porsche YouTube channel, because they're going to be doing a series. They've done a lot of filming already, so they're going to release, I think, 5 or 6 episodes of them restoring this 959 Dakar rally car that has a lot of history.
We can probably reach out to Uwe and get him on the
I would love to have him on
podcast.
again. Yeah, talk about the car and the challenges.
Let's do it. Let's reach out to
We
him.
call
and do it.
Uwe Mr. Yes, because
Yes,
when
man.
we were building the Classic Club Coupe, everything that PCA wanted, he would nod yes, it can be done, while the other Porsche Classic people were shaking their heads going, I don't think so.
And they're working out of their fairly new facility, which is beautiful. And I think I've mentioned it on the podcast before, but I went and visited a couple months ago at their new facility, and the inspirational artwork that surrounds their work area are photos of the Classic Club Coupe,
Yep.
which is
That's I remember you saying that.
very cool.
Once the 959's down, they'll be pulling those down.
No. Who knows?
Yeah.
I hope not.
I've got a feeling they'll stay up.
And they'll end up here.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Hopefully. That
Absolutely.
Cool.
If they come down, they're coming
Oh,
here. So I guess our culinary world is entering the Porsche conversation very often. We talked about vegan leather the other day, and today you're talking about eggshells?
Different types of interior materials they're using for cars now. Sustainability is a big thing, and so they're experimenting with things that can be recycled or disposed of a lot more environmentally friendly, and they're discovering that stuff like eggshells.
Well, here's the thing that I hope they're considering, because I know, I think it was Mercedes, I don't know if it was Porsche as well, but in sort of that vein, or the effort of being sustainable, like they made wiring harnesses that had cornstarch in it.
Didn't work out too well.
Didn't work out too well, because guess what? Mice love cornstarch.
Yeah.
So
What's that, 993,
What-
964 generation? Where they had those,
I know like Mercedes, like the 90s E classes, like I know the E500, maybe the E500 or something like that, but like sort of that time period where harnesses had cornstarch is not a good thing. So I hope
When I was in the packaging world, it was amazing seeing the cornstarch peanuts, packing peanuts, because packing peanuts are basically styrofoam, and they're just horrendous for the environment because they don't break down.
Yeah.
And these ones that were made out of cornstarch did, and all you had to do was put it in a cup of water,
It just
and it would
disappeared.
almost dissolve.
Yeah.
It was amazing. But like you said, the mice and rats
Oh gosh.
loved it. So we were in a
was
constant
like
battle.
a buffet.
'Cause we would get a truckload, so that's like 300
Oh, my
bags,
gosh.
industrial bags of this stuff, and that we'd have to constantly be in the fight, so checking the bags to make sure there weren't mice inside of it, because that was like a Golden Corral buffet for them.
Oh,
So they
geez.
saw it, but anyway, so keep an eye out. You're going to see more and more of interior products being made with material that you probably aren't familiar with, that is sustainable.
Now, this next one probably caused our resident F1 fan, Jim Hemmig, shed a tear when he saw Ford Motor Company do what Porsche couldn't.
Well, correct you. It's not that Porsche couldn't, Porsche wouldn't.
Porsche wouldn't.
And that is to simply put their name on the car.
Yeah.
Porsche is an engineering company. It's in their name, and they wanted to basically make the engines, which, hey, that's exactly why we love them.
Yep.
And Red Bull did not want that. Red Bull also wanted a lot of autonomy. They didn't want a partner.
So it's gonna say Ford, but still that Honda engine.
Not a Honda,
Maybe
but I
Red
think
Bull
a Red Bull,
powertrains.
Red Bull powertrains.
But isn't the Red Bull
For now.
powertrain originally Honda?
Yeah, until 2026, it'll be Red Bull. Honda is last year's 2025 with Red Bull.
Yeah.
So-
That's like, I mean, kind of posing when your name is on the car.
It's
Yeah,
kind
they're-
of like going to F1 races, but not following F1.
Shut up. Hush.
Yeah.
Hush.
You know, but it's. I mean, it's great that Ford's going in. I'm happy about that. They have a long history in Europe in motorsports
And in Formula One.
and Formula One too. Exactly, and with I think Red Bull too. They've done stuff before, so it'll be fun to watch. I would rather see Ford building the motors and being more involved from an engineering standpoint, because they are, a force to reckon with when they put their nose to the ground for motorsports. So hopefully maybe it'll evolve for that. But until then, this just, I think, further illustrates what, and kudos to Netflix, what Netflix has done with F1
Yeah.
as far as value and recognition, where you have these big automakers that want a part of this because they realize how much of the world they're touching.
Yeah, so now we have Ford and Red Bull, and now potentially Andretti Motorsports and Cadillac.
Yeah, an Audi with
Audi, of course.
so it's
Yeah, we'll see what happens with Andretti, right? Do you think there's still room for a Porsche Andretti?
I would
tie-up?
love to see, because the Andretti family has such a long history in motorsports, and they are American, so it's would be great to see.
It doesn't seem like F1 is too hot on the Cadillac Andretti, but partly because I think Cadillac isn't in it to build an engine. So I guess we'll see. That would be my hope.
Yeah. Well, anyways, Jim, I think he's still sore at Red Bull, like Porsche is.
Yeah.
So that saga still continues.
All right. Next up, we have a new facelifted model.
Yeah, and this is what I love about Porsche. It's so hard to tell what they facelifted
Because it's
or they're hiding.
evolved. It's evolved.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I love about you can't. There's nothing radical where you can say, "Oh yeah, this is the next year's model," because it looks almost identical. Obviously, they're still camouflaged and they're hiding some parts to it, like those big round intakes,
Right.
in the on the bumper. But that's. I still think the Taycan is such the perfect size car.
It is.
I mean, I love the Panamera, and I understand the back seat being usable and really comfortable. But as far as a sedan, the Taycan is
The right size.
It's beautiful.
I mean, I've seen, and Mr. Sass and I have been looking at the classifieds on PCA.org and seeing the prices of.
If Rob's going to show with the Panamera within the next 3
a
months,
Panamera for, if you can find
he's all hot and bothered. I can tell every time I see him, he's
so
asking me about
excited.
Panameras.
But it's a Panamera. Panamera is about the size of a Tahoe. So
Yeah.
it's not like a car you just flip into the parking lot.
It's longer than a Cayenne. Well,
Longer,
how about
wide.
this? When I was road testing Panameras and Cayennes in the early 2010s, I remember the Panamera is wider and longer than the Cayenne, and I believe
yeah.
that's still the case.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
But I
So-
tell you what, the people that you have sitting in the front obviously is good and it's very familiar. But the back seat, back seats are the best in the Panamera. You feel so luxurious with the high the door panels and
That's the reason it's
feels-
a four-seater,
it
because
feels
it's
so
such a
VIP.
sculpted seat
Yeah.
in the rear. It doesn't compromise anything. It's a
And I-
incredible comfort in it, but it's a four-seater. It's not.
And that used to be a problem for
five-seater.
us because we have
Me
3
too.
kids, but not so much anymore.
Well, you
because-
never put 3 kids in one row because that's World War III.
Well, we did that in the
You strapped their
Cayenne.
hands down so you wouldn't touch each other.
Luckily, our kids get along, but now the boys are like, we could. Justine's away at school, so it's really just
You realize
the
I
4 of
have
us.
pictures of Jason pushing Jonah at my parents' pool into the pool, and Jonah coming out full throttle chasing Jason.
That's sibling love. That's all right. The next up, GT4 e-Performance, which we talked about a little bit earlier.
Yeah, so it was spotted all over Zellamzee for this. Even though they said it was canceled, they still held some kind of Winterfest or something.
Yeah. I like the blue light bar across the back for those of you that aren't watching.
It looks
on
like the
YouTube.
Millennium Falcon from the rear.
Exactly, and this thing is flying through snow and ice.
I would love the
beauty.
opportunity to drive that.
Oh,
is,
yeah.
So it's a GT4 E Performance Tour.
Is that Travis Pastrana? I thought I just saw.
Huh. Look at that blue light, rear light. That's crazy.
Yeah. It's,
All right.
It's exciting times, like I always say, when it comes to electric and technology. Things are evolving so
That did look
quickly.
like
I
Pastrana.
know. I was going to say,
Might have been.
Pastrana's out there. I mean, there was the whole Ken Block and Audi,
Yeah.
and so
And you know Pastrana's just right down the street here,
yeah, I know. Yeah, he's out
Yeah.
in East Kent Island
Yeah.
or something like
just
that.
over the bridge.
Yeah, they shut down Annapolis to do that one video.
All right, and what'd you guys find out about Boxster EV charging?
Just that it's been spied, and
It
somebody
looks
took
like a mess, but that's all the camouflage.
It's a lot of camouflage on it, but somebody must have caught their attention because it was at a charging station plugged in.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
You know what's
it's,
funny is you
So the
remember
plug
those,
is in the back?
it's like an old American car,
Like
with
an
a
old
gas
American
tank,
with
right?
the- you
Flip up
flip-
the license plate.
Yeah. Oh, look at that.
But it's coming. I mean, I know I have friends who refuse to believe that electric Porsches are coming, but
I'm
you know,
excited for it.
They're coming.
I'm excited for it. Oh, look at that.
I think you're going to have a gradual changeover. I don't think it's going to be a Band-Aid ripping off.
Yeah. And what we're looking at here, for those of you that aren't on YouTube, is there's a little section in the middle at the rear bumper that pops up, like as Damon said, like old American cars where the license plate used to drop down and you would plug it in. So,
Yeah, it's hey, I'm glad that
it's
it'll
coming.
be fun to see as it evolves.
And I think the last bit of news, you talked about Walter Rohrl a little bit before.
Yeah,
as
so he
well.
was commenting. There's a article where he got to drive the 911 Dakar, the rally package, and he loves it. He's in his 70s, and he I think the title of the article is basically the 911 Dakar for senior rally drivers, and he talks about how his wife loves it because she's 3 years younger than him, in her 70s too, and she doesn't. It's hard, getting into some of these cars that you have to drop down into the seat. This is because it's lifted. It's a lot easier to get in and
That's
out of.
funny.
And of course, he was quick to also say that it doesn't matter to him if he has to drop into a car. He'll drop in any car. But for older drivers, this is a nice byproduct of having a lifted chassis, is that you don't have to fall down into the car.
That looks like a lot of fun driving in the dirt.
That would be my bucket list, to be driven around the rally course with Walter Rohrl.
Oh, man.
There's not enough patches for you in your
No,
car sickness.
no. I'd need like a body patch so I don't throw up.
Yeah.
All right, so upcoming events. I'm actually gonna be on the airplane tomorrow, heading to Jacksonville for our National Staff Assembly, where we're meeting with the Executive Council and the PCA's National Staff.
Without a doubt, the most exciting part of the year, probably for you, right?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Making our plans and reporting back to folks what we'll be doing in 2023, and be back home for a couple of days, and we're finally back to Tech Tactics in Easton, and we're there for 2 days.
Yes, and for those of you who commented that would be nice to have guests once in a while, we are going to have a guest in our next podcast, because our next podcast we record up in Easton on the Saturday or the Friday before. Robert so graciously has volunteered to help us out getting everything set up at Tech Tactics, where we're going to record several of the presentations, 2 of which are going to be live. So we're going to have to do the podcast on Friday with our guest, Stefan Glockow.
Christoph,
I'm sorry.
Close.
It's going to be a busy day because we're going to be filming the GT3 RS and the Dakar on lifts on Friday as well. So a lot of
Yep.
good content
And
coming
luckily,
out of
they're
that.
not teaching that day, so we have the place
We have
to
to place
ourselves.
Yep.
So we'll have him on as our guest to talk about the 911 Dakar and Porsche exclusive. I got to submit a list of questions, even though I tried to explain to him that our podcast is not 60 minutes. We're a little bit more laid back, but it's a lot easier for me just to submit questions and let him prepare for it.
You
But
know
yeah,
what?
it'll be interesting to hear from him.
You know what I'm actually very excited for this year? For the first time at Tech Tactics East, I'll be able to enjoy the full meal that you all eat, because Lunar New Year was earlier this year, and every year
yeah.
I'm vegetarian during the week at
Well, we're eating vegetarian because Aaron's vegetarian.
well, he's gonna be eating vegetarian.
I think the
gonna-
restaurant that
I'm gonna
Melanie
enjoy.
picked is all vegetarian.
I'm gonna eat.
You know, I feel bad for you because you remember that I don't remember the name of the place, but there's an Italian place that was there for decades.
Yes.
And then they closed
I never.
before the last Tech Tactics season 2020,
Yep.
and you never got to eat
I never
meat
got
there.
to eat meat there, and you
And
guys.
the Osobuco. Oh
Okay,
my
stop
gosh.
it. Stop it. Well, this year I am, so I'm looking forward to that.
So anyways, we're going to record. We're going to have 2 live Tech Tactics on the Saturday of which is the
18th.
18th.
Yep.
Yeah, it's looks like we're going to do Nathan Mers. He's going to have a pretty cool presentation, interactive, where he's going to pick, I think, 2 Bring a Trailer auctions that have ended. But he's going to ask everyone to look at the pictures ahead of time and get questions. Because what the presentation is about how you judge a car when you can't look at it and you just have pictures, which is something I saw on a thread somewhere. Someone asked that exact question on Reddit. I think someone asked that same question. He said, "How do you get a PPI done on a car and bring a trailer?" I never see any discussions. And somebody commented, says, "Oh, you got to be able to look at the pictures." And so Nathan's going to teach us what he sees and what we see, so versus a professional. And then we're also going to have on Lake Speed and Charles Navarro talking about oil analysis, which a lot of people have done, gotten their oil analyzed, but how to read it and what to look for when getting your oil analyzed. So between the 2 of them, they're very good public speakers and should be a great presentation. Plus,
there's more.
Porsche's given us the authority to record a presentation on the 911 Dakar Rally, which Christoph will be giving, and then we'll also be doing a presentation on the GT3 RS, which, like Damon said, hopefully include big car being on the lift and talking about what makes the GT3 RS the RS. So, yeah, it'll be an exciting weekend. Registration may be closed by the time you listen to this. If you want to come on Sunday, because Saturday's fully booked, and registration is closed, just drop us an email, and I'm sure we'll be able to work with you.
Yep.
You may not have a name badge with your name on it, pre-printed from Porsche, but at least you can get into the event.
Next week, we're also going to be starting to pack for Works Reunion Amelia Island, which is on Friday, March 3rd. Looking forward to that. If you're coming down and you want to get into the corral, there's a few spots there, but that's looking to be
we're almost
Registration closes on the 11th, I think. Tom
Yeah.
Pravasi was telling me. So that's well, by the time this comes out, this podcast, you won't technically be able to register.
Oh, sorry.
So,
You can always park.
Again,
You can park in the spectator.
banking or
Spectator parking
spectator
is for
parking,
you.
yeah,
$40,
exactly.
I think, to park.
we always had the phase where we switch over to either registration closes or we sold out,
No.
and that's when all the hey, you know me, I met you at such and such place, so I'm looking to get in. Well, last year is when we got hit with the we're coming down with 11 Cayennes that are set up for off-road. Do you have any space that we could park together?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Which
sure.
actually turned
That
out to
was
be
cool.
awesome because they were all really set up for off-road, and so we found a space. They didn't want to be judged. They just wanted to be able to park
displayed together.
and we found a perfect place that was not in the way because, believe it or not, everything is laid out with AutoCAD, so everybody has a parking space with their name on it, even though
Every
they don't realize
blade of
it.
grass is accounted for.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we found some extra space that we could put off-road vehicles on, and it looks spectacular.
So parade registration phase 1 opened, and I think when we last reported, it was about 600 primary families that have registered, and now we're close to 900 families.
Yeah, I asked
registered for
Robert
parade.
and Melanie for some numbers, and it was pretty impressive.
Pretty staggering. And so keep in mind, these parades are reserved at least 3 years in advance. And think about, the commitment financially for the organization. And this was booked before COVID. And so, people say, well, how come you don't have enough rooms? Well, there's a trade-off or a liability if you commit to too many rooms. You still got to pay for them. What if people don't come because people are like, oh, it's Palm Springs in June. It's gonna be too hot. So I think we always err on the conservative side, but they are also doing their best to secure additional housing for those that might need it. And it's going to be a fantastic time. And yes, it will be hot, but I'm sure people still live there and people still have fun, and we'll figure out
we've
how
done
to do
so many parades in hot places, and they turn out to be some of the most fun parades, because there's one thing the parade committee can do is manage the heat.
Yep.
Meaning they schedule events at a time where you're not spending the whole day outside sweltering in
Sure.
the heat. There's places for you to come in and cool off.
Yep, exactly. All right, folks, we are at the top of the hour. Anything else, Damon?
Yeah, so actually, before, just it's on my mind, but a YouTuber that I think we all watch pretty regularly recently had a lot of, I don't want to call it good luck, good fortune. And he did what I think a lot of us wanted to do, and he bought
Oh, you're talking about Doug?
the car, exactly.
Yeah.
Doug DeMuro went and bought the car that he's wanted for his whole life, and it was a Carrera GT.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah.
Which I think is awesome. Really recommend watching that video. That's actually the car I would buy if I came on a huge fortune. What would you guys?
Well, here's the thing. That's funny you set that up, because this weekend I was at one of my wife's tennis friends' evening dinner or whatever, and of course, how many of you, when you guys go to something like that, it always turns to cars, right? Mm-hmm. So there were some car enthusiasts there, and I was posed the question of, if you had all the money in the world, which car would you buy? And it's not your only car, but just which car would you buy? So are you saying that would be a Carrera GT?
Carrera GT.
How about you, Manny? What would you say?
904 or a 550 Spider.
Really?
Yeah.
And for me, it's so hard to commit to one car. Even right now, I don't have an answer. Like we
It's tough.
It's tough. One car, and I think about all the cars that you just mentioned, which are fantastic, but like I also like there's some things that I like that my car has to be unique. Not to say that the Carrera GT isn't amazing, but you could have someone pull up and have the same exact car, and I'm like, no, that's why I passed on that one.
We both driven the 959, and what struck me was how much it looked and felt like inside my 964.
Yeah.
It was. We knew where all the buttons were because it was the 964.
So one of the guys there, because he knew I was in a Porsche, he's like, wouldn't it be like the 959 for you? And I'm like, that's a fantastic car, but I can't say that's the car. Yeah. One guy said, a McLaren F1. I said, you do realize your stature and getting into that middle seat might not be for you. And so I kept on rating on people's parades as the cars that they chose, and I still don't have. So for those listening, if you had all the money in the world to buy one car, what car that would be? And of course, it doesn't have to be Porsche specific. I'm just curious, can you decide on one car? Yeah. One car.
See, that's like food with me. If you ask me what's my favorite food, it used to be waffles when I was 10, but ever since,
I can't
choose.
say.
Yeah, food, you can't eat the same thing.
Right.
You can't say what's the last food you're going to
Well, that's how I feel about picking one car.
Yeah. But if I lived in Southern California and I had all the money in the world, then it would be a 550 Spider.
550 Spider?
Yeah. Or a 904. But I've never driven either one of those cars.
Okay.
So what I think they're going to drive like, and we've driven, or at least I've driven the 959, a Carrera GT, and the 918.
Right.
So they're like, not off my list, but I've driven them. I know what they're like. But to me, the fantasy is still there for a 550 or a 904.
Well, that's the thing is the cars you just mentioned, the supercars that you just mentioned, they're actually quite drivable. But a 550 Spider, yes, it's a dream car, but could you really enjoy that in modern day traffic? And, obviously it doesn't have Apple CarPlay and such, and it's a very bare bones car. Fantastic, beautiful, iconic. But that's your one car? I don't know. I can't commit.
I'm used to driving cars that people don't see on the highway, little cars.
Yes, you are.
Although yesterday I got a thumbs up from a guy driving a mid-80s.
Sure, it was a thumb and not a middle
middle
finger.
Yes, when you can send somebody right next to you.
Yeah.
And I looked over and he was driving a white 5 Series, late 80s maybe.
Yeah.
Mid 80s. Nice. And he gave me a thumbs up and then sped off. And
well, your car is what, like the James Bond car, right?
Pretty much without it's a James Bond, because James Bond never chased anybody or tried to get away with that car.
It's funny, it looks great from the back and even the front, but then you see the duct tape and you realize it's well used.
Tape holding the window together. And
yeah. Once you get close, you're like, man, this guy uses his car. But props to you for that.
All right, folks. Well, thanks for listening. If you aren't currently a PCA member and own a Porsche, grab that VIN, head over to PCA.org and become a member. I met someone yesterday at Pickleball that had a Macan Turbo, and I said, why aren't you a member? It's only $46. He's like, oh, I got to do that. If you don't own a Porsche just yet, join the test drive program. It's also $46, and you can sign up at PCA.org. Remember to follow our podcast Instagram page. That way you'll get some behind-the-scenes photos, videos, Porsche Club Insider, all one word. And as Manny mentioned before, if you have questions or if you want to send something to us, send it over to podcast@pca.org. Until next time, stay safe, and we'll catch you down the road.